Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanajari Yamuna Tira Vanajari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyana Jana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvasesha Sunyavadi Prachatade Satarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna everyone. Thank you for joining us at Iskcon Toronto this Sunday evening. We really appreciate your time. So we are now in the month of Kartik, which began on October 17th and will continue until November 15th. So today we will discuss about Kartik, its importance, lessons from Damodar Lila, as well as what activities we can perform in this period. Kartik is the most auspicious month of the year, and Sanatan Goswami states in his Hari Bhakti Vilas that there is no other month equal to Kartik, that it is the chief of all months and very dear to the Vaishnavas. And therefore, Vaishnavas serve the Supreme Lord with great devotion during this month. And in the Skanda Purana, it is stated that all holy places reside in the month of Kartik, which is eternally dear to Lord Krishna. and whatever pious deeds are done for the Lord, they bring utmost benefit that is eternal. So these are just a couple of quotes of many, many quotes as to the glories of Kartik. Now one may ask, why is the month called Kartik or Kartika? Well, Srimati Radharani's mother's name was Kirtiki, or Kirtida. And as Srimati Radharani's is her daughter, she was referred to as Kartiki. And therefore the name Kartik or Kartika is referred to her. The month of Kartik is also known as Urja Vrata. Urjeshwari is another name of Srimati Radharani. And Urja means power, strength, or vitality, and refers to the internal potency of Lord Krishna, which is Srimati Radharani. It is Srimati Radharani that manages and controls all the power and energy that is meant to serve the Lord. And why is this month dear to Krishna? It is because Srimati Radharani is most dear to Krishna, as she is the predominating deity of this month of Kartik. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Masana Margashirsha Ham, that of months, I am Margashirsha, November to December. And Kartik immediately precedes that month. You know, we refer to Radha Krishna. So Kartik, Margashirsha. And because Srimati Radharani is the epitome of devotion to Krishna, she is the greatest devotee of Krishna, she is the conduit by which we can get her compassion and her mercy, that Krishna will accept our insignificant devotional service to him. And Rupa Goswami actually has a very nice prayer to Srimati Radharani along these lines. And he says, Bhavatim abhi vadya chaturbir varam urjeshwari varam artiye baya diyataya kripam yata mai kuriyad adikam bakantaka, which means, O Queen of Kartika, I fall down before you and beg with sweet words that may Lord Krishna, the killer of Baka, be as merciful to me as are you. Very sweet prayer, right? And that is the mood that we should emulate as well. Now you may notice that when we celebrate and observe appearance days, such as the appearance of Lord Krishna, Janamashtami, or Nrsimhadev, Nrsimha Chaturdasi, and so on, we generally celebrate for a half a day or a day, right? But for the pleasure of Srimati Radharani, who wishes to please Lord Krishna, we actually observe Kartik for an entire month. And this month of Kartik is further glorious because there are so many pastimes and benefits in this month, which gives us an opportunity to hear about the Lord, hear about his pastimes, absorb in them, glorify him, and worship him with devotion. This was the month that the Rasa Leela was performed. This was the month that the gopis, crying in separation from the Lord, sang the Gopi Geet. And this is also the month where we celebrate Radha Kund and the benefits of bathing in Radha Kund during Kartik. There's a very sweet pastime related to the appearance of Radha Kund. Once Krishna had killed the bull demon, Aristasura, and he went to see the gopis and Srimati Radharani. But they rebuffed him and said, you are contaminated, you're not pure, you've killed a bull, because it's a form of a cow. So you must go purify yourself. And Srimati Radharani, she suggested, Krishna, why don't you go to all the sacred rivers in all the three worlds and bathe in them, and then you'll be purified. So Krishna thought, I'm not going to go everywhere. Why should I? So with the heel of his foot, he dug a large hole in the ground. And then he commanded all those sacred rivers to come into that hole. And they all appeared there. And that was the appearance of Shamakund. So then Krishna bathed in Shamakund, and then he came out and he arrogantly said to Radharani and the gopis, well, now I am purified, but what about you? You have made an offense because you took the side of a demon. So what are you going to do? So Radharani decided, I must make an even more beautiful pond than Shamkund. So she told all the gopis to, let's make a pond. They took all their bangles off their arms, broke them, and started digging a hole just west of Shamakund. And after doing that, they formed a line to Manasi Ganga to bring sacred water to this newly formed hole. Now Krishna saw this great effort, but he thought, this is going to take too long. I'm not going to wait for this. So he commanded all those sacred rivers that had entered Shamakund to also enter this newly formed pond. And of course they did, and that made the appearance of Radhakund. This is also the month that we observe Balhu Astami. Once there was a cow that was grazing very peacefully in a pasture named Bahula, and a tiger attacked her. And Bahula said, please let me go at least temporarily so that I can feed my calf and bid her farewell, and I will come back to you. So the tiger agreed, and Bahula went to see her calf and to her master, who is a Brahmin, explained the situation, and they said, we will take your place. And she said, no, I've made a promise. So they all came back to the tiger. Now the tiger saw, I have 3 meals instead of 1. It was the greatest day for him. But as he was deciding whom to devour first, who should appear but Lord Krishna? And Lord Krishna said, look at the honesty of them. You will receive everlasting fame if you let them go. So the tiger relented and did so. And Krishna was so pleased with Bahula, with her integrity, with her truthfulness, that he named a forest in Vrindavan after her, one of the most sacred forests, Bahulavan. And he stated to Bahula that in your next birth, you will become my consort. And so that is Bahula Astami. And there's more in the month of Kartik. We also celebrate Diwali, when Lord Ram returned to Ayodhya after 14 long years of exile, right? We all know that story, right? And we celebrate Govardhan Puja, when the inhabitants of Vrindavan were trying to set up and prepare for worship of Lord Indra. Little Krishna told them, don't do this. Rather, why don't you pray and do worship to the Govardhan hill, who provides all the maintenance and sustenance for the cows and the inhabitants. So the inhabitants listened to Krishna and started to worship Govardhan hill. And what happened? Lord Indra became very, very angry and put forth torrential rains. So Krishna took the Govardhan hill, lifted it up simply with the pinky finger of his left hand as a huge, large umbrella, giving shelter to the inhabitants of Vrindavan and all the animals, cows, peacocks, and so forth. And this month we also observe Gopa Astami. Up to the age of 6, Krishna was spending his time as a Kumara, as a little child, and he was playing and taking care of the calves. But at the age of 6, he entered his Paganda pastimes age. And he was given the responsibility to now herd the cows. And so he and Balaram would traverse all around Vrindavan, herding the cows and leaving their lotus footprints all over. And so these are just some of the pastimes that are packed in this 1 month of Kartik. Have we forgotten any pastimes? Anyone? One small pastime maybe? Damodar, yes, thank you. Of course. We're all familiar, or most of us would be familiar with the pastime of Damodar Lila. It is one of the most famous pastimes in Kartik. Actually, Krishna has many, many, many pastimes that are beautiful. But his childhood pastimes, his bal pastimes, are the most sweet. And the sweetest of those pastimes are his pastimes as Lord Damodar. So we will absorb ourselves in this pastime because when one hears the pastimes of the Lord, one's heart gets cleansed. One's consciousness becomes elevated. And no matter how many times we hear these pastimes, because they are spiritual, because they are related to the Lord, they have a higher taste and they only get sweeter. This pastime is actually explained by Sukadev Goswami in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 9. So once Krishna, when he was a very small child, the inhabitants of Vrindavan were preparing for Diwali. Remember we mentioned that Diwali happens to be in the month of Kartik. And Mother Yashoda, seeing that her maidservants were all busy with other chores and other preparations, decided to churn the butter herself. And we talked about learning lessons from Damodar Lila, so we'll sprinkle those through as we go along. So here we can learn that we should perform devotional service and not delegate our devotional service to others. Of course, we can engage others in devotional service so they can benefit, but we ourselves must also perform our devotional service to develop our own bhakti. So we must personally endeavor in this regard. So Mother Yashoda, she decided to churn the butter, and as she was churning the butter, she was singing the pastimes of Lord Krishna and meditating on his beauty. As she was laboring very hard with both of her arms, churning the butter, making a noise almost like a mridanga, the bangles on her wrists were tinkling back and forth like kartals. Her earrings were going to and fro, and was her body. And in this way, she was fully absorbed in thinking of Krishna. And so this is a lesson for us, that while she was doing this service, who was she thinking of? Krishna. She was not getting distracted by other things. So similarly, when we are doing our devotional service, when we are doing our seva, when we're doing our sadhana, we should be fully absorbed in Krishna, not get distracted and start thinking of other things that, oh, I've got this work to do, oh, that person said that to me, and so forth. Not get distracted, be fully absorbed in the Lord, not just routinely doing service. So it was at this point that Krishna appeared in front of Mother Yashoda, and he was feeling very hungry. And so he felt that Mother Yashoda's first duty should be to take care of him, to feed him. She can churn that butter later. Now, of course, Krishna is Atmaram. He is fully self-satisfied. So what need was there for him to be fed by Mother Yashoda, right? Well, Krishna let go of his greatness, let go of his power in order to provide sweetness, to provide love from Mother Yashoda, to increase her love for him, to intensify her relationship with him. And this is also Krishna's mercy for us. That Krishna shows us his greatness so that we can submit to him, be reverential to him, but at the same time, he shows us his sweetness so we can increase our affection for him. So Mother Yashoda took Krishna on her lap and began to feed him and was looking at his beautiful face. And as Krishna was sucking the milk, she suddenly remembered that she had left milk on the stove and she could hear it starting to boil over. So she put Krishna aside, quickly put him aside, and ran to the stove. Now Krishna, being left in this state, he became very angry. His lips and eyes turned red with rage. And he was thinking that Mother Yashoda has left from serving me and going to attend something else. Who is more important, right? And we can also learn from this as well, that we need to understand who is more important and what is more important. Are we endeavoring and dovetailing to Krishna's desires, or are we trying to pursue other endeavors, right? We have to maintain our family and ourselves, yes, but we have to dovetail our endeavors to Krishna. Now actually, Mother Yashoda, she went to save the milk, right? And similarly, we in our everyday lives are trying to save the so-called milk. We're trying to save money, save assets, collect this and collect that. But let's see what happens. In abandoning Krishna and going to save the milk, she actually lost butter from a butter pot and from a hanging clay pot. We'll see how that happens. So Krishna was angry. He pressed his lips and teeth together and he thought, I'm going to do something naughty. He picked up a stone from the ground and threw it at the clay pot, the butter that Mother Yashoda was churning. The pot broke and he went, took a bunch of butter out of that pot and started walking to a secluded place, to another room, leaving his little lotus feet remnants in the butter that he was spilling along the way. In the meantime, Mother Yashoda returned after dealing with the milk. And she saw the broken pot, and she saw Krishna wasn't there. And she understood who has done this. As she smiled and thought, this clever child has broken this pot and run away, fearing punishment. So she began to look everywhere. Where is he? Where is he? And in the meantime, Krishna had gone into another room and had climbed up onto an upside-down wooden grinding mortar. And what was he doing there? He had reached up into a hanging pot from the ceiling where butter was being kept and was taking the butter out and feeding his monkey friends. But while he was doing that, he was looking here and there. That he didn't want Mother Yashoda to catch him, so he was sneakily looking here and there. But Mother Yashoda finally found him. And so she snuck up behind Lord Krishna and she picked up a stick because she wanted to punish him, like any good mother would, right? You don't want your child to be naughty and want to prevent that child by being naughty in the future. So now she came up behind Krishna, but Krishna saw her. So he quickly climbed down from the wooden mortar and began to run in fear. Now, this same Krishna, who is Satchitananda, who the demigods are controlled by, all the universes are controlled by him, everything moves only by him, is being chased by Mother Yashoda with a stick. Quite extraordinary, right? And Mother Yashoda could not easily catch him. She was heavier, she was older, and he could run very fast. So her hair was becoming loose, her garments were becoming loose, but yet she was running. She wanted to catch him. And somehow she did reach him. The same Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who cannot be catched by the jnanis, by the mental speculators, by those who just simply read Shastras, was playing just like a little ordinary child for a great devotee like Mother Yashoda. Now, Krishna is Adokshaja, which means that he is beyond measurement of the senses. As we stated before, he especially cannot be captured by mental speculation, cannot be captured by advanced material knowledge. Yet here he was allowing Mother Yashoda to capture him. Why was that? Because Mother Yashoda was a great devotee. She was not dealing with Krishna on a mental speculation platform, but out of pure love and affection. So when Krishna was caught, he was almost at the point of crying. He was rubbing his eyes with his little hands, showing great fear and terror from Mother Yashoda. This same Lord is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam as Yad Bayat Vatiyato Yam Suryastapati Yad Bayat Varshate Devo Bhagano Bati Yad Bayat, that out of fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the wind blows. Out of fear of him, the sun shines. Out of fear of him, the rain pours forth showers. And out of fear of him, the heavenly bodies lose their luster. It is also stated that the name of Krishna is feared by even fear personified. So this same Krishna, who is non-different from his name, is exhibiting fear from Mother Yashoda. He is becoming fearful of Mother Yashoda's stick. But this was Krishna's pastime, that he wanted Mother Yashoda to have this wonderful parental relationship with him. Now, Mother Yashoda saw the terror in Krishna's eyes, and she became immediately regretful. She threw the stick away and decided, I shall punish Krishna in another way. And so she decided that Krishna should not go out to play with his friends. Rather, he should have a timeout. We're all familiar with a timeout, right? Some of us have been in it, sure, yeah. Okay, so she dragged that same wooden grinding mortar that Krishna had been climbing on previously and brought it out to the courtyard. And then she found a rope, and she decided that she will bind Krishna around his belly to this grinding mortar, that he should not be left unpunished. And that is where the name Damodar comes from. Dam means rope, and Adar means belly. And actually, Yashoda's name is also significant. Yash means famous, and Da means giver of. So by Krishna's mercy, he allowed Mother Yashoda to give Krishna fame through this pastime, by his mercy, of course. And Mother Yashoda did not realize that this was a Supreme Personality of Godhead. She was just looking at him as her child. But yet she was trying to bind the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's all-pervading, infallible, limitless, omnipotent, who cannot be controlled and binded even by the yogis, even by the meditators and the speculators. But here she was trying to bind him. So she took that rope and she tried to bind him around the belly. And what happened? The rope was 2 fingers too short. So then she looked in the courtyard, found some more ropes, tied them together, tried to put them around his belly again, and found that there were still 2 fingers too short. Krishna had a small belly. He wasn't some big, fat, adult guy, right? So then she went into the house and she found more ropes. She was very determined, put all these ropes together, and once again tried. And once again, 2 fingers too short. Now, Mother Yashoda was bewildered. She was frustrated. What is happening? She was adamant that he must be punished. He was naughty. He cannot get away from this. So now she called all the neighbors, all the Brajavasis, those same Brajavasis who Krishna was stealing butter from. And so they thought, oh, well, now's our chance, right? So yes, they brought all the ropes that they could find from all over Vrindavan, yellow, blue, pink, all these ropes, and brought them to Mother Yashoda. Here, yes, bind Krishna. And so she connected all these ropes. And what happened when she tried to bind Krishna? 2 fingers too short. Mother Yashoda was becoming very tired. And remember that this was Diwali. So many hours had passed since the morning when this pastime started. So Krishna could see that Mother Yashoda was not actually trying to control Krishna, but was actually trying to bind him out of love. And Krishna appreciated her hard labor, her complete effort, and seeing her so fatigued, he felt compassion and mercy for her and allowed him to be bound. So we must understand that in order to get Krishna, in order to capture Krishna, we must put all efforts into it, all endeavors into it, that no matter what the obstacles are, we must try to serve him. Not that, oh, we will serve Krishna when we feel like it. We're busy right now. We have to be focused and we have to be determined. Mother Yashoda was literally sweating for Krishna. And Krishna actually says, Na sadyati mam yogo, na sakyam dharma udava, na svadhyayas tapastyago, yata bhaktir mamorjata. He says, my dear Uddhava, the unalloyed devotional service rendered to me by my devotees brings me under their control. I cannot be controlled by those engaged in mystic yoga, Sankhya philosophy, pious work, Vedic study, austerity, or renunciation. So here was Krishna, the supreme controller, but he is saying that he comes under the control of his devotees because of their pure, unalloyed love, tinged with no other motives. We cannot have motives of personal fame that, oh, look, I'm serving the Lord, I'm chanting for the Lord, look at me, look at me. Or we cannot say to the Lord that, oh, here's all this money. You cannot buy the Lord that way. But the Lord does feel transcendental pleasure by submitting himself to the protection of his devotees. And this was exemplified by his surrender to Mother Yashoda. And the gap of 2 fingers was also very significant. Why was it not 1 finger, 5 fingers, 4 fingers, and so forth? The gap of those 2 fingers were filled by the devotee's effort and hard work, by the endeavor despite the obstacles. That was the first finger. And the second finger was fulfilled by Krishna's mercy. That is how we can bind Krishna to our heart. Now, most of the day had passed. It was Diwali. A lot of things still had to be done. It was almost evening now. And so Mother Yashoda still had a lot of tasks to do. But Krishna also had one task. He had to still fulfill the promise of another great devotee. Who was? Narad Muni. You see, once Narad Muni, who is famous for traveling all over the universe, was going by a pond in which the sons of Kuvera, the treasurer to the demigods, were frolicking with some young women. And they were all in the state of undressed. And so as they were doing this, Narad Muni passed. And the young woman could see that this was a great personality. So they quickly covered up. But these 2 sons of Kuvera, Nala Kuvera and Manigriva, they were so intoxicated. They were spoiled, wealthy sons. So they kept frolicking, not really caring. So Narad Muni thought, I shall punish them. I shall chastise them to give them a lesson. And so he chastised and punished them, cursed them, that they would become trees. Because trees are also bare, right? Naked. They suddenly came to their senses and asked for forgiveness. So Narad Muni said, you shall become 2 Arjuna trees in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. And Krishna, when he comes to do his pastimes in Dwarpa Yuga, will deliver you. And so this was Krishna's task. He was now in the courtyard. Despite being tied, binded to this grinding mortar, he began pulling it, and it flipped over to its side. And so he dragged it in between these 2 Arjuna trees, which crashed, and the 2 trees split, and out came these 2 demigods. And they offered wonderful prayers to Lord Krishna. So we can also learn from this that we should not do Vaishnava prad, offenses to a devotee. Offenses to a devotee, even by mind, word, or actions, are very disastrous. So it was at this point, of course, that Nanda Maharaj came, everybody heard the crash, they unbound Krishna, and that was the pastime of Lord Damodar. So from this pastime, we can understand Krishna's mercy, that he provides us these pastimes so we can remember him and never forget him. And that we can remember that he indeed gets captured by our love, by our bhakti. And in this month of Kartik, any devotional service, any bhakti we do for the Lord, for Damodar, has multifold benefit. It is stated that just as Krishna is affectionate to his devotees, the month of Kartik is affectionate and merciful to Krishna's devotees. And Kartik is also known as Niyam Seva. Niyam means rules, which means in the month of Kartik, we should create some rules, some routine, increase our endeavors daily to worship the Lord, to perform devotional service. And there are many ways to do that. We can increase our chanting of japa, increase our chanting of the holy name, read more pages of the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam, chant the Damodar Astakam prayers, which are these pastimes that we spoke about every single day of Kartik. Worship with a ghee lamp to Lord Damodar. Worship Tulsi Devi, who is actually Vrinda Devi, an expansion of Srimati Radharani. Serve in the temple. The list is endless. But it is important to understand that we should not just do devotional service during the month of Kartik. The month of Kartik we can use to kickstart our devotional service, to surcharge our devotional service, but we must continuously do devotional service, serve the Lord beyond that. Emulating the example of Mother Yashoda, of Srimati Radharani, and of the gopis. We can ensure that we do devotional service by what I called 5 S's. Seva, devotional service to the Lord. Sadhana, our personal practices like chanting japa. Shastras, reading the Vedic philosophy that Srila Prabhupada has given us to deepen our understanding of the science of self-realization. Share the knowledge with others so they can also benefit. Become goodwill ambassadors. And Sangha, participate in the association with other devotees, which helps uplift yourselves as well. And in this way, we can advance in our Krishna consciousness, and we can be assured that through our sincere endeavors, through our dedication, that Krishna will be merciful upon us so that we can understand the purpose of this life and make our lives successful and go back home, back to Godhead. Lord Damodar ki jai, Kartik Mas ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Haribol. Thank you so much for such a great class today. And so as we heard today in class, this month is Kartik, a very sacred month of Kartik. And so This is the first Sunday of Kartik, so you'll notice for the 8 p.m. Arthi, so when the doors open at 8 o'clock, we will be singing a song, Damodar Ashkatam, so 8 beautiful verses that glorify Krishna in the Damodar form. So you'll see that today, but unfortunately we will not be allowing devotees to offer a ghee lamp just for safety reasons. But for the next month, if you would like to do that, the temple will be providing an opportunity for us to do lamp offerings 7 a.m. every morning. So there's no need to bring anything. We will provide that for you, but just note that that will happen in the morning at 7 a.m. just for safety concerns. So as we also heard during class, this month is full of festivals. And so on Saturday, November the 2nd, we will be celebrating Govardhan Puja at 6 p.m. And prior to the program at Temple, we will also have a 4-hour kirtan from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., so please attend that. Saturday, December 14th, the Krishna Fun School will be holding a Gita contest for children ages 3 to 17. So if you're interested in having your children participate in the Gita contest, there should be on the notice board just outside by the hallway, there should be a poster with a QR code, so please scan that and you'll get more details for that. As devotees know, there was a workshop with His Grace Mahatma Das scheduled. It has been rescheduled. So for Group 1, they will meet November 22nd and November 23rd from 6 to 9 p.m. Group 2 will meet on November 30th and the 1st of December from 7 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Again, there is a poster right by the foyer, right by the hallway outside on the notice board. If you would like some more details, there is a QR code to scan for that as well. And again, on the board outside, you will see also information about classes that the temple is also hosting online and also in person. As always, a shameless plug for Govinda's. So our temple restaurant does have tons of snacks and meals and all sorts of things there. There currently is a pizza special, apparently, so if you like pizza, please check it out. And our boutique as well always has saris, dhotis, and everything else for your purchase if you would like. And if you're interested in being featured in the 2025 calendar for your business, please see devotees at the front desk outside for more information there. And always, whether it's darshan times or any other information, sorry, if I could just have a couple minutes, please, folks in the back. Thank you. Just a couple minutes, I promise. Thanks for your patience. So if you ever want some more information about darshan times or any events at Temple, we do have a website, chanakrishna.com. All right. Are there any new devotees here today? By show of hands, don't be shy. Are there any? All right, a couple, perfect. Do we have Amal Purana, Prabhu? Or Amal Harinam, sorry. So during Prashad, during the feast that we'll have in a few moments, if you would like, it's up to you, but this devotee over here, just smiling, very happy devotee, we'll give you a tour of the temple and just give you sort of some background as to what we're doing and why we're doing what we're doing. So if you're interested, anyone who's here for the first time, please see the devotee over here for that. All right, so for sponsors today, we do have one anonymous sponsor. And for our cooks today, it's Yadav Hari Prabhu and Draupadi Mataji. So if you could please chant with me 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thank you so much to those devotees and the team behind them. And if you are interested in sponsoring today's feast or any feast in the future, the devotees in the front desk that will be more than happy to help you with that. And finally, the best part, we will have Prashad, our Sunday feast. Gentle reminder that the doors will open at 8 p.m. And so we had to be finished eating